Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the International Brotherhood of Magicians official podcast. I am your host, Jason Michaels, joined by my co hosts, Scott Cantrell, Ben Young. Greetings.
And salutations.
And felicitations.
What?
Isn't that a thing? Greetings and felicitations.
Solicitations? You have
Well,
something you want to sell me?
felicitations.
I don't.
Felicit-
That sounds. Is that obscene, or is that something that we can even talk about on the podcast?
It's okay. We'll just cut this out and we'll start over again.
Nah, let's not do it. Let's just go straight to it. Somebody can look up felicitations and give me the definition later on. What have you guys been up to other than looking up strange words to share and confuse me by? What's been going on, fellas?
Well, I've been working at House of Cards. Last week, as of this recording, I was in Vegas briefly performing at Formula One, in one of the
Nice.
hospitality suites there, and so that was super
Very
cool.
nice.
Yep, that
I've
was
seen a
super fun.
lot of videos of magicians who were performing at Formula One. Apparently, um, racing fans like magic tricks. Is that what, or maybe race companies like magicians? What's the deal?
My theory is twofold. One, that when you're having a big event in Vegas, you think, well, what are the Vegasy things we can do? And I think that every company independently has the same idea. They're like, well, we got to get a
Magic.
magician. And then the other thing is that people are just there to have fun, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they're there to have a good time. The race itself only lasts about an hour and a half, but it's like a whole weekend event where people going, having drinks, having food. There's all sorts of kind of pre-race activities, and people are just there to have fun. And so, what is better for adding some atmospheric fun than some strolling close-up magic? So it's super easy to just plug in, and people were really receptive to it. It was fun.
It's funny. I did a gig in Vegas a number of years ago. This was a while back. This was one of the first gigs I did in Vegas where I actually flew out to do the gig, and so I'm doing just strolling around a pool at one of the. I've done that a couple times, but this was one of the very first ones, and it was so funny. I would do, I was doing card magic and sleight of hand and stuff like that, and when the big climactic moment of the trick would occur, this happened on multiple occasions at the same event. Like I probably happened 5 or 6 times. The big climactic moment would happen, and they would be shocked. They'd be like, and then they'd go, "Well, it's Vegas." Like that's the answer to the magic trick. It's like, "Well, it's Vegas. This is what happens in Vegas." I thought, you know what? It's a good point. Your point is well taken, Ben.
And just so we're clear, are we able to get more information about you doing poolside Speedo magic on your website, or
Speedo magic. Oh my. Well,
Somebody's got to buy that domain right now. You know what? Forget I said it. It's probably
Scott's on his phone right now
by
looking
the
it up.
time this goes live, it'll be taken
yeah.
And
by
somehow
one of us
there's going to
three?
be me. It'll be totally AI generated, but I'm going to be in a speedo, and I that is going to be terrifying. Um, Scott, what have you been up to, man?
I was Googling felicitations.
Oh.
And felicitation is an expression of good wishes or congratulations, often given for a happy occasion.
Oh,
So
well,
Oh,
greetings and
felicitations to
felicitations.
you too.
I have never even heard that word in my life.
And you're educated, aren't you?
I'm educated and old.
So you want to know, look, I'll keep this relatively quick. You want to know how I knew the word felicitations? And
I
this
don't
is
know. Do
before.
I? Do I want to know? I'm
This
not.
feels
I don't
like
know the
a.
answer to this question.
I have a guess.
This you will get your guess would probably be wrong. This was for all my fellow other geekdom nerddom folks out. Oh, Ben is nodding his head.
Hmm.
No way. Seriously, no way. So
Yeah.
there is an episode of Star Trek. that- Ben, yeah,
Yep. That was my guess.
there's an episode of Star Trek where the villain Trelane says greetings and felicitations to the crew. And so as a kid, when I was watching the reruns of Star Trek, that's how I learned that word. And Ben
Now,
knew.
And who
Ben is
said that
one of us.
watching TV is bad for you? I mean, I obviously you're learning things. You're learning
Learn
about
things.
space exploration. You're learning new vocabulary words.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I'm buying speedomagic.com.
Oh gosh, scary.
Yeah, I know. I don't need to, but
So
Welcome to the International Brotherhood of Magicians podcast, everybody. If this is your first episode, maybe jump back one or two and start there.
let's jump back one episode. We had Eric Schuster on our last episode, and we were
yeah,
talking about the IBM brand new website that launched, and it is up and running, and it is exciting. And I'm telling you, there's been a bunch of excitement. There's been people who have been posting things on the IBM socials and some
mhm.
emails that have come through. Pretty much everybody's excited about it. There have been a few people who like had some like consternation, a little bit of frustration. They weren't able to log in or they didn't understand how. There was one
Normal
guy.
stuff.
Yeah, it's normal stuff when you completely overhaul your technology.
Right.
But the cool thing about that is that between Eric and Cindy in the office, they're taking care of all the little snafus. So they're getting everybody make sure that they're registered and able to access the website. Have you guys checked it out yet? I've been on there many times because I was part of sort of helping shape it a little bit with that committee. But have you guys taken a look at it yet?
The site is tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually there now. I'm just kind of perusing, seeing it online again. Is I got to see it early days as well, and it is now it's live and it's real and it's very cool
Hmm.
to see something else at magician.org. The other site, as we talked about before on the previous call, the other site did its job.
Yeah.
It was just asked to do way more than it should have ever been asked to do. That's all.
Hmm.
And it was great for when it was created, but now it's time. It's so nice to have the new fresh, updated, modern site for our members and non-members, those who are interested in learning more about the IBM and potentially becoming a member. The site should pretty much answer all your questions and tell you everything you need to know.
Can I just tell you the thing that I'm kind of blown away by? Because before we started recording, I was like, okay, I'm going to go take one more look at the website. And if you go to the, so okay, if you're not a member of the IBM, in order to get access to what I'm going to talk about, you will have to join the IBM, which you can do on the website. But just okay, if you go to the one section under members and it says the pen and ink collection, okay, there are um eight magic books. These are books that you would purchase in the library. Now, I know that nowadays we mostly learn through videos and things like that, but these are classic books. If you go to Pen and Ink and then you go to the classics, here are the books these are books that I have bought for anywhere between $15 and $40 at bookstores or at magic shops. So there's the Abbott's Encyclopedia of Rope Tricks for Magicians by Percy Abbott, Mental Mysteries and Card Mysteries by Burling Hull, The Expert at the Card Table, which is like the thing that so many legends of card magic started with by S.W. Erdnase, Modern Coin Magic by J.B. Bobo, Modern Magic Manual by Jean Hugard. Now you see it, now you don't. I bought that at Abracadabra
Yeah,
Magic
it's
Shop
on the shelf
for
behind me too.
$40
Yep.
by Bill Tarr. Theodore Animan's Practical Mental Magic and the Royal Road to Card Magic, and those are books that you literally they pop up as a flip book and you can completely learn. I mean, you're talking, I think that if you were to purchase those books in the bookstore, you're talking about, I don't know, somewhere between $200 and $250 just
Yeah,
to
at least.
purchase those books, just those books alone.
Yeah.
And these are pivotal books. These are the type of books that when people say, I'm a new magician, where should I get started? Go to Royal Road for Card Magic. My goodness, there's unbelievable magic tricks in there. Go learn from some of these things. So I'm blown away that is just one tiny element of everything that is in the member section. That doesn't even include the over 100 plus hours of lectures, interviews, and all the videos that you can watch. And we're talking about interviews with the best magicians in the world and teaching and all sorts of stuff. I'm just blown away by it. I think there's literally thousands of dollars worth of magic that you can
Hmm.
learn on this website, and all to get access to it. all you have to do is become a member of the IBM.
Yeah.
Yep,
Which is a
unbelievable.
fraction of a fraction of that.
Very good. So,
Yeah.
speaking of, so since we're talking about that, I will say that, it's the middle of December right now as we're live. And there, this is, people are looking for things to get as gifts. You've got Christmas coming up, you've got Hanukkah, you've got Festivus for the rest of us. You got everything that is out there that people want to give gifts for. If you have somebody who loves magic or is interested in magic, and if you have somebody who just has a passing interest here, you can give the gift of a membership to the IBM, which you will get full access to this website, and you'll literally be this your loved one, the person that you want to give this gift to or give this gift to yourself, will literally be able to. I mean, they don't have the point is you don't have to go anywhere else in
Yeah.
order to learn magic. You could learn magic for years. So, and let me just real quickly, I know this is becoming a commercial, but let me just say this. What's cool about magic, so I have a friend, Greg Owens, a buddy of yours as well,
Mhm.
Scott, and Devin, his son, got into magic when he was a kid years ago. And I remember Greg, we were talking to Greg, and Greg's like, look, we both love magic, but I don't even really care, how far he goes with magic. The reason that I'm so excited that he's into it is because it's teaching him how to stand up in front of people.
Yeah.
It's teaching him how to look somebody in the eye and shake their hand and introduce himself. He's learning all these ancillary, like social skills, because he's excited to perform magic for these people. And so he said that's what Devin's getting out of it, and that's what I'm excited to teach him. So I just think there's a lot that you can get if you want to give somebody the gift of magic. So anyway, commercial over, I'm just I know that magic has been a pivotal part of each of the three of our lives. And
Yeah.
without magic, we don't know each other. So, I mean,
That's sad to think about that.
well, just think about all the
Is
friends
it?
you have met because of magic. I mean, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no,
It's
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 true.
actually
Yeah.
pretty amazing. We're
Yeah.
talking about all the things you can get from the website, and we're not even considering the fact
The
that
people,
you join the IBM, and there's probably a local club near you that you can go and learn directly from magicians,
which you can go
doing.
right to the site right now, whether you're a member or a non-member, I think, and you can find the local rings on a big
Mhm.
national map.
Yeah, you
Find the
you want to
club that's close to you.
find the club that's close to you, go check it out. You'll have a blast.
And really,
Yeah.
it's worth mentioning that I mean, nearly everything that has happened to me in Magic, everyone I've met, and everything all stemmed from going to a ring meeting all those years ago. We had a family friend
Yep.
who was a magician, but he said, and we all know Tom Vorjahan, and he said
Yeah,
there's a magic
he's been a
club.
guest on the podcast.
Oh, that's right. He's been a guest on. We've done a lot of episodes. It's hard to remember, but he said, "Hey, there's a magic club. I'll bring you to the magic club." And it's because of that that I met you guys
Yeah.
and met everybody else that's had any sort of pivotal meaning in my life, in my magic life. And so
Yeah, that's
huge,
very cool.
huge. And
Very
the
cool.
website, when I went to it when it launched yesterday, as of this recording, uh, I was like, oh my gosh, it's a website. Like, it looks like exactly what a website should look like and functions like a website should function like, which is a beautiful thing. And so just huge hats off to Eric
Yeah,
for
Eric killed it.
the undertaking.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
There was an entire
unbelievable.
team, but Eric was the lead on it, and everybody that was a part of that team did an outstanding job.
And it's not just a design thing, but because we are such a large organization, there's so much stuff on the back end from
Right.
member profiles and all of that info and everything like that. It was just a huge undertaking. So
Yes.
go to the site, go to your ring, and keep listening to this podcast.
One of the things I want to talk about today is the wildest and the craziest shows / audiences that you've performed for. So I started thinking about this. We've been doing this podcast now for like pretty much like a year, more or less at this point. And I just usually make a list of different things that I think would be fun to talk about, or things that I get fired up about, and yell and scream and rant about. But I finally was like, you know what, we need to. We have people who actually listen and watch the podcast. Let's get them participating. So about
100%.
2 weeks, about 2 weeks ago, yeah, about 3 weeks ago, I made a post on our social media, the I.B.M's Facebook and Instagram, and that basically said, "Hey, tell us some of the wildest stories about shows that you've done." And so I want to get some wild stories from you guys, but before I do, I want to read some of our listeners and some of the social media folks, some of their wildest stories. So Steve Queen, our buddy from St. Louis, who we enjoyed meeting last year in Houston, he said, here's what his response was. It wasn't wild. Well, it's not how you start, Steve. You know, when I ask, give us the wildest, well, it wasn't wild. I shouldn't even read the rest of this, but we're going to. It says, it wasn't wild, but I was doing a Halloween show at a country club. I was doing Miser's Dream around the audience, and a kid that had been my biggest heckler, shocking, a child who's a heckler, who had been my biggest heckler, laughed when I pulled a coin from his grandmother's ear. He shouted, "She only speaks Russian." I paused, turned to his grandmother, and without missing a beat, greeted his grandmother in
Wow.
Russian and turned back to an audience that went nuts. That is good. That is so
That's
good.
fantastic.
That's nice. That's a
So
good one.
good. Isn't it fun when fortuitous things like that happen? Hey, there's a word you can Google, Scott. Fortuitous.
Two of
Okay. You
this.
have words.
Working on
I
it.
also have words. All right. Um, Warren Cheney had this to say. His wild show experience was an audience of 4,000 plus. Wow. At the Stillwell Field House, Okinawa.
Hmm,
The show was an offshoot of an episode of the AFRTS television series Magic Mansion.
cool.
What's the biggest number of people you guys have performed for? Because I think Warren's got most of us beat here. Is
That's pretty
anybody?
good for a live crowd. I don't think I did a short spot in a big show, but I don't know if there were several thousand. I don't know if there were 4,000. There might have been right around that.
Yeah, I did a show for a long time ago at Opryland Hotel
Yeah.
for Walmart, and there were probably 3,000 people there. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't think there
I
would
don't
have been
think I've
that.
broken the 10,000 mark or anything like that.
Yeah.
Live.
I did a halftime show at a college basketball game.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
don't know the number of people. It might have been more than four. Uh,
It
I
was
don't
probably
know.
more than four, Ben. Unless they really didn't have a good season, then it might have only been
Yeah.
four.
Yeah. And also it was halftime. So, I mean, most of the people were getting concessions.
oh, well, good point.
Yeah.
You know what I did? You know what? Now that I come to think about it, I did Vanderbilt University's basket last year. I
Yeah.
did Vanderbilt basketball halftime show.
As
So,
as to plant a seat, you also perform. This is a story I wanted to bring up, Jason. You also performed for a hockey game one time. At
oh,
least
that's right, the Rockford Ice
we're going to
Hogs.
talk about
That's
it.
okay. All right, we'll
We'll
get
talk-
into that. Magic by Mark said, I tried to look him up and see what Mark's last name is. He is apparently his last name is Mark and his first name is Magic and his middle name is By. Magic by Mark. I did a holiday show at a firehouse in New York when the alarm sounded and the adults sprung into action. I was left performing for the spouses and kids. A hot time to be sure. I love it when people are
That's
punny.
fantastic.
Let's see here. Michael Late said, we once performed in a small mountain village right in the middle of one of our illusions. The power went out. Complete darkness, silence. We were
Mhm.
just standing there thinking, okay, now what? Then something happened we'll never forget. The audience took out their phones and lit the stage for us. So we finished the show under
Wow.
300 phone flashlights, no spotlight, no effects, just us and them. It ended up being one of the most beautiful shows we've ever played. Sometimes the simplest moments hit the hardest.
That's very good.
Yeah, that is good. Timothy Spotswood. Man, that's a last name. Spotswood. Timothy Spotswood. Most memorable was my first kids show in the Philippines. After my, and this is in quotation marks, I'm an idiot beginning. Uh, apparently, he knows what he's talking about. After my I'm an idiot beginning, I asked for people's favorite magic word and faced blank stares. I realized that I was misinformed about the level of English proficiency. Luckily, I had a tightly scripted, well rehearsed act and was able to brutally edit on the fly. I cut out about 75% of the talking and leaned heavily on the visual gags, ended with giant bubbles, and everyone had a great time. That's cool, Timothy. Very cool.
It's good way to work on the spot.
Oh yeah, it's weird when stuff like that happens. Things you're just not expecting that, there is no way to kind of know it's going to happen and then
Yeah.
you're like something happens and you think to yourself, "Okay, I still have to perform a show. How am I going to
Yep.
do that?" So those were the things that people shared with us, some of their wild and fun stories. All right, who wants to go first? First off, does everybody have a story or do we have multiple stories? What do you got?
Yeah,
I
I've like four or five written down. They're all super quick. They're all kind of like the ones you shared. They're like
Okay.
basically two sentences of something that happened.
What do you got,
and
Scott?
I couldn't think of anything. I don't think I've ever had anything weird happen on a show ever.
Well, you don't really
Um,
do a lot of shows,
no,
so
that's true.
Oh,
The sample size, the sample size is much lower. No, I've got a handful of things. Most of them, with the one or two exceptions, pretty quick stories.
all right. Well, who wants to jump in? Either one of you guys. Just figure
And
it out.
Jason,
Go.
what do you got? What do you got?
I have one or two.
Okay,
okay,
No,
Ben,
actually,
go.
I
I'll
have three.
start.
I have three. So yeah, go ahead, Ben.
We'll
I'll
shuffle
start.
them.
So a few, they're all kind of random. So on one of the tours with you, Jason, where we were performing for the military overseas.
Yeah, I think you're about
Um,
to take one of my stories.
By the
okay,
time
well,
we get
I
done,
guess we'll
Jason
find
won't
out.
have any stories.
We'll find out. And it's similar to one of the ones that you just read, actually. Uh, we arrived at a base. We were in kind of the South West Asia area, and we arrive at the base and then find out that like 90% of the people on that base are actually Colombian military and don't
Yeah,
speak any English.
that's right.
And it
We
was
found that out
Jason,
literally right as the show was starting.
yeah. And
Wow.
it was Jason and me and then Christian and Catalina. So we have Jason who's doing his magic act. We have Christian and Catalina that are doing a two-person mind reading comedy act. And we have me who is doing all comedy magic act.
Lot of
And
words,
A lot of
a
lots
words.
lot
of
of words.
words.
And we luckily, one of our escorts that was kind of walking us around was bilingual and was able to kind of translate on the spot. And that combined with the fact that that audience knew that we didn't speak any Spanish and we knew that they didn't really speak any English. It was a very like a lot of humanity in the
Mm.
room of like we're all here together, we're getting through it. The show ended up being fun and fine and
Yep.
uh but it was yeah, that was a wild thing to show up and not even know until we were there.
Yeah, I remember thinking to myself, okay, how the heck are we
Here
going to
we
do
go.
this?
A
Yeah.
lot of visual magic by the two mentalists.
Exactly, exactly. All right,
What
Scott,
did
what you got?
what did Christian and Kat do? I mean, because how did they?
They did their
They
thing.
just did translation. We had the
Yeah.
translator. Yeah.
Yep.
You just
Yep.
really have to. I mean, I learned when I was in China with Brett Daniels. I mean, I learned that you
Slow
really
down.
have to slow down, and a lot of your humor will not connect because jokes are very much based on cultural things.
You know what else? Ask me what else jokes are based on.
What else are jokes based
Timing.
on? Which it
Sorry.
is hard to get timing with a
Translate.
translator.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Scott. What is one of yours?
One of mine, I had a similar experience when I was a kid. I guess this was, I don't know. I hadn't been doing magic a long time, maybe a couple of years, and I was doing a public show where I'm from in East Tennessee, and it was like an arts in the park type thing, and I was on stairs, and it was at night. Anyway, I was performing, and I this is before I had matured as a performer and knew to think about these things. It was my first experience of this, and I asked someone to help, and I just pointed at them, and they nodded. And then I asked them their name, and I think they told me. And then I asked them a question. I don't remember what effect I was doing. asked them a question, and clear they did not speak English at all, like no English.
Ooh,
And I wanted to continue. I didn't want to just ignore this person.
yeah,
And so I asked if anybody could translate. And there was somebody there that could translate. I think it was Spanish. And so we did this routine with this person, and it did create this
that's cool.
very, you know, audiences love those moments, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if
Yeah.
it doesn't always work. You can't always just go off the cuff like that and just, sometimes you have to just cut your losses. But in that environment, it happened to work and got a translator to translate and made that person the star of the show, even though they were, uncomfortable at first. That was a big lesson to me in terms of going where the audience leads. Again, when you have the liberty of doing that, not every show you
Yeah.
have that liberty. But yeah,
Nice.
so that was one in terms of language. Around, I'll do this quick one, and then we'll go around the horn again. But and I think everybody who's done anything with fire can relate to what I'm about to
Okay.
say.
Oh
Um,
no.
so I mean,
Uh-oh.
I didn't know that the preschool house was that flammable. I thought that the wood wouldn't catch that quickly. I mean, it had been a dry summer, but no. I was performing. This was again when I was young. I was probably 13 and doing a corporate show. This would have been one of my early corporate shows, Christmas corporate shows. And I had I always would start out my show to a music, like to do some kind of routine to music that was like 4 minutes or whatever. And I
Sure.
would do very
Yeah.
visual stuff. And I had a mirror glass, and I won't get into too many of the details, but I had flash paper. And I had practiced with flash paper, but not in a live performance, right? I had just rehearsed to see what the paper did. And I
Okay.
thought I wanted a big flash because there's a big audience, right?
Oh.
Bigger audience, more fire. So I didn't tear a piece of the flash paper. I taped the whole piece of the paper to the bottom of the glass,
Oh,
thinking that that would be
word.
better and bigger. It was bigger, and I lit the thing, and I was holding it about right here, which it
Okay.
shouldn't have been there anyway, but I was holding it about right here and lit it, and this fireball, I mean, whoosh. And it had to be like one of those cartoon things where after the fireball goes away, my face is red, and literally my hair was singed right because a similar haircut, but my hair was singed right here, and you could see it like caramelizing, like crystallizing here. And then from where my hands, the hair on my knuckles was completely singed. And
Mm.
so throughout the show, I'm going when I just happen to touch my hair, I feel this hard, crusty thing, and the hair falls off.
Ooh. Oh.
And
God.
and the whole show, no one else could, but the whole show, I'm smelling burnt hair. So that was fun. But again, lessons learned.
Lessons learned. And we
Lessons
wonder
learned.
why fire marshals don't allow fire in
Maybe there's
venues
a reason.
anymore.
Yeah, yeah. So less flash paper from then on.
Less flash
And
paper.
that was at the start of your show.
That was at the start of my show. So I went through my fingers were burned a little bit, but they weren't hot enough to really get burned. They were just a little bit singed.
Hey,
So yeah.
I've set myself on fire before. Ben, have you set yourself on fire?
Negative.
Oh, okay. So two of the three of us have set ourselves on fire in the execution of magic tricks. All
Speaking
right.
of,
Although,
you have a funny fire story, Jason.
Yeah, but yeah. All right. I'll think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ben.
my like maybe third show ever was a show for the like after school program at an elementary school. And I had just bought one of those like fire shooting wands
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that you load with
Okay.
flash paper
Yeah.
and a cap for a cap gun, and
Yep.
and looking back, I mean nothing happened, so there's not much to the story. But looking back, maybe that wasn't the right idea. I mean, I aimed it directly. It went out over the kids, this fireball, and then But anyways, Jason, did you have a story, or did you
Go
want me
ahead. You
to
go
share
go
a quick
go
one?
for it.
Okay, so this was my like first year kind of out of college, trying to make it on my own, professional magician. What that means is I'm saying yes to every
Right.
opportunity that comes in, including doing a show at an Easter egg hunt on a farm. And they had the show like in the field. And during the show, a potbelly pig walks up. I'm in the middle of my pom pom routine, and a potbelly pig walks up and is like brushing up against my leg, and I'm like, I mean, I'm fine like with pigs, but I'm like, this is not the time. Like, I'm trying to do a show. I'm worried that it's gonna knock my case over, and then it's gonna be like in the mud and manure. And it was a whole thing. And that was just, this tiny little moment that will stick with you forever. Is that one
Yep.
time that a pig walked up to you during the show.
There you go. I
I
like how
love
you
it.
romanticize it. You're like, there's a time for everything, but now is not that
All the
time.
time.
It's like,
I
oh
like
Lord.
animals. I like animals, and pigs are pretty cool. They're very smart. But this
Yeah.
one also didn't speak English, so it
Oh,
didn't know to
okay,
walk away.
yeah.
You know, there was no
This one was
translator.
he was looking for some just like some he wanted you to give him a. Ear rub, you know.
I guess.
All right,
Go for it,
this
Ben.
is the one that
Oh no.
this is the big one I was going to share. I'll go ahead and give it to you now. I got a call for a show, and the guy was like, he was asking about my show, and I described it, and he was telling me, he's like, we're doing this music festival, blah blah
This
blah.
is so great.
And I was like, all right, I quoted him a price. It was up in Indiana, and I was like, okay. So I was like, okay, it's going to require overnight. He wants some illusions. I'm going to take a sub trunk with me. I'm going to take a cube zag. I'm going to take an assistant, and so we booked the whole thing. And then like we do the call like a week before, and he's like, just to catch up, make sure we're like everything's still good. And he's like, he goes, so just so you know, I mean, like, who this is for, right? And I'm just like, oh, what are you going to tell me this is like for the Rolling Stones or something? Like this sound like he's like, this is the battle of the Juggalos, and I was like, I have no idea what that means. That's what I was thinking, and so I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. And so I'm just kind of like, well, I don't know what that means. So I look it up and I find out that a juggalo is someone who is a fan of the Insane Clown Posse, and which is was and still is popular, but was a very popular um, musical group, and they're hosting this music festival over the course of multiple days, and so anyway, Kristen Cervantes goes with me. She acts as my assistant. We drive up. We get there early, but it's like early because the show was scheduled for like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, no
Wow.
problem, whatever. But stop and think about it: a music festival show at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's like weird because they've been up until like 5 o'clock in the morning, basically like partying and whatnot. But anyway, we're driving in the middle of nowhere. We finally get where we're going. My GPS is not working anymore because we're literally in fields, somewhere in Indiana.
Close to Ben's pig.
Yeah, near your pig. And so we pull up in the minivan, and we're like, or the magician's like, oh, okay, we pull up and we're driving, and then all of a sudden I notice there's a naked person walking across a field, and I'm just like, what is that?
Time for Speedo magic.
And so so anyway, we get there, we find out we're supposed to go, we set up, we do the show. The show goes fine. It really, to be honest, like when the show started, there were very few people there, but they started gathering. And probably the first 5 to 10 minutes, I brought a kid up and I did something that made the kid look like a hero, and everybody really loved it. And so everybody was watching, they were having fun, people were participating. It was a good time. So it goes fine. And I go and I'm like, and the guy comes up afterwards who hired me is like, man, that went great. I was like, yeah, yeah, well, I thought it went fine. And he goes, all right, so we'll get you paid and blah, blah, blah. He said, I think that went great. And I'm just like, and it just seemed so odd that he like said it again. And I was like, well, have you had some bad magicians before? And he's like, oh no, well, we've had, this is a tough crowd. We had, I'm not going to tell you who it was because I don't want to blast this person. First off, this is not a magician. This was an MTV celebrity. He said, we had this person last year and they threw human crap at her. Except he didn't say crap. He said they threw S at her. And I was like, what? He goes, oh, no. They threw human crap at her. They hated her. And I was like, He said, and we've had other groups get pelted with rocks if they don't like you. And I was just like, what is going on? And I was like, Kristen, get the car. We
Get the
out of
car.
here. But no, they paid, and it was great. But it was like I was so totally unprepared for that. I was just kind of like, yeah, we're just gonna go do our little magic show. It'll be fun.
Aren't you
Little
glad
did
he
I,
told you? Aren't
I
you glad he told you after though?
absolutely,
Yeah. Oh
absolutely.
my gosh.
So yeah.
That would have been a lot of pressure if he had told. Oh, by the way,
If
right
anybody
before you
throws
go
something,
on.
if you think they're throwing mud at you, it's not mud.
Oh.
Gosh. Well, at least you know you did a good job. You would have known if it was bad.
Yeah, exactly. Good point. Good point.
That's instant feedback.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Scott, what else
on
you got?
Jason's one sheet, it's like did not get crap thrown at me again. That's like that's the big achievement.
Oh, you're killing me. Oh, that's funny.
Uh I'll do
Oh,
I'll do a quick one and then kind of a little bit of a longer one. But um different venues are strange, right? So we probably all work crazy different venues.
yeah.
The one of the strangest that I recalled when I was thinking of this list, I was asked, and I've done it actually a couple of times, but the first time was extra strange. I was asked to perform for an event where they were transporting the attendees from one venue to another, and they asked me to perform on the bus, on the coach.
Okay.
And so, you know, they've got the little tour guide microphone, and they expected me to use that, which I have my neck lanyard, so that worked. And I was able to do, you know, parlor magic on a moving bus. But here is the trick.
Nice.
This was at nighttime. So
Hmm.
they had to turn the bus lights on
Oh,
while the
nice.
driver's driving at night from, I think, the Opryland Hotel to the Bluebird Cafe, I think was our route. And I'm doing magic between the seats, and there would be a turn, and the magician goes this way, and a turn, and the magician goes that way, and I'm having to stabilize myself and do magic. But they didn't want me to just do magic because
No, no.
they'd seen me juggle.
Oh my goodness.
They wanted
Oh,
me to juggle
wow.
on the bus. So Ben, this was about the same time like you were talking about. I was saying yes to everything. It wasn't a, you know, if I got the opportunity to, you know, control the environment, I would. But it was just, yeah, I'll do it, whatever, I'll do it. And so I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So ball juggling was fine. But when it got to, I don't think I did knives. I don't think I did the knives on the bus. When it got to clubs, it was very, very difficult. So
Mhm.
that was a lot of fun. I've since done one bus thing since, but I was just strolling up and down the row, and so that wasn't a big deal. But
I had a
nothing was
company
kind of
hire me
crazy.
one time to perform on a train, a moving train, and that is not easy at all because
Yeah.
holy cow, those things are rocking and I'm just trying to not get motion sickness. I was doing strolling magic, so I was walking up to people trying to get their attention while I'm trying not to fall over.
It,
Moving vehicles, yeah, tough.
it was fun. It was fun.
Did you say you had something else you were going to
I
throw?
do, but I was going to wait because I made that short one a longer one.
All right, Ben, what you got?
So I thought it'd be fun. I worked for Matt King for 3 years. I did about close to 1,000 shows with him, and you see a lot of things. And we won't reveal anything here, including one thing that you all know that is a surprise that happens in the show that involves a tent.
Mm.
We won't say the big reveal on there, but you know, things happen sometimes. And I was the surprise that has to do with the tent. And this one time, the door of the tent didn't stay open the way it should have at the beginning of the trick. And so it fell open,
Mm.
and the audience saw something in the tent that they shouldn't have seen.
Did the
Um,
audience have to just bear with you?
they did just have to bear with me.
Yeah.
Um,
Well done.
and the amazing thing is, and of course, Mac didn't realize because Mac is like picking the kid to go up to help, you know, with the trick. So he doesn't realize for a good like 30 seconds. And you know, the audience is making eye contact with whatever
That's hilarious.
happens to be. Uh, and then eventually Mac sees it and goes, "Oh my," and then closes it back up. And amazingly, the kid did not see what was in store.
Wow.
And we were able, I won't go into all the details, but we were able to get through the trick and successfully pull it off for the kid still.
That's awesome.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
so that was cool. The other thing that was so weird that happened, this only happened one time. I asked Mac, he's like, it's never happened ever, ever, ever. Because sometimes with the tent, the door would kind of, but um he performs a trick with goldfish where he catches goldfish out of the air and he drops them in these glasses of water, these like wine glasses. And he has a kid up on stage. The kid's holding the wine glass. And what you think is that, oh my gosh, kids must drop the wine glass all the time by accident or because they're scared or whatever and break the glass. Nope, never happens. But this one time, he hands this little demon child the glass. And she goes like this and dumps the water directly at him, like all over his jacket. And he's like kind of caught off guard.
Oh my
And we have a
gosh.
second one because usually it's like one fish per glass. So he just is like, okay. And then he just grabs the other glass and hands it to her, and she does it again.
Oh yeah, you should have learned the
Wow.
first time.
Fool me once, Mac.
I know.
Yeah.
That was
Wow.
one of those things that sticks with you too. And I was like, I mean, that's never happened ever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? That was probably learned behavior.
Yeah, yeah. Learned. You know,
Speaking of
speaking,
real quick,
yeah,
talking
good.
of Matt King, uh,
Mm.
guys, unless I'm wrong, I think the day that we're recording this is actually Matt King's birthday.
It
Oh,
is his birthday.
Happy
oh, happy
birthday,
birthday,
Mac.
Mac.
Happy birthday indeed.
Wow. Yeah, for speaking of people we worked for, I worked for Brett Daniels, and we did in 2001 we were in China doing a tour, and Brett did a spot on their Chinese New Year big CCTV television show. Like, we went to the government facility, CCTV studios, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you're going to be seen by however many billion
Yeah.
people," and I was like part of the tech crew on that, making sure everything worked. And so that's not something I perform, but I was there, so it was kind of cool. All right, how many we got
Wow.
left? How many are we starting to get to the end of this, or
Uh, I I've got one that I wanted to share really
go
quick.
ahead?
So I'm in college and performing, and they do campus events and stuff. And one of the events, I can't remember if it was one of the sororities or fraternities, but they were putting on what was the equivalent of Showtime at the Apollo.
Oh,
So
okay.
anybody could, put their name on the talent list, and then go do their thing, but the audience is going to let you know if they like you or if they do not
Oh,
like you.
so it really is like Showtime
It
at the
really
Apollo.
is. And they've
Okay.
got a guy with a big hook who will come drag you off the stage. And that's part of the fun, right? They're looking
Oh gosh.
for they want to see good stuff, and they will appreciate it, but they're looking for those people who they can boo off the stage. So,
And that's where you come in.
and that's where I come in.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I think I'm third or fourth on the list, and which at the time I didn't know if it was good or bad. They had an MC. This is at their big theater, so
Tucker.
this is at Tucker, yeah, Tucker Theater in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And how was it seat, Jason?
A
Um,
thousand, a thousand.
yeah, it was basically full because I mean, they invited the whole, not the whole campus, but there were a lot of people there. It was basically full. It was a big crowd, and the first person goes up, and I think he raps or something, and like they give him the audience is just looking for the boo. I mean, they like
Yeah,
it could have
yeah.
been something really
They're ready.
good. Yeah, and it's like 15, 20 seconds in, they're like, boo, boo, get him off the stage. And the guy comes out and like drags him off the
Oh
stage.
my gosh.
And I'm like, okay, well, at the very least, this is going to be a great story. The next act goes out, they drag them off the stage. The next act goes out. I think they were all musicians or singers, and they stay. This third one stays a little bit longer, maybe like 90 seconds, and then they're like, "Boo, get him off this." I'm like, I
Golly,
don't
just
have a chance.
eating these
I don't,
people up.
no, yeah. And here I am. I'm not going to do any magic. I'm going to go out and do my juggling comedy, my comedy juggling routine.
Okay.
But I realize I don't have a lot of time to get these people on my side.
Right.
But I don't change my set. I just go out there and I think because I was doing something totally different, to be
Yeah.
fair, they gave me a little bit of liberty.
Yeah.
And then I got the first joke in and I got a laugh. And as soon as I got that first laugh, I was like, yes. So I get through the whole set. I think
Wow.
we had like an 8 minute limit or something. I do my 8 minutes and then it's this huge applause and people loved it. But gosh, I was stressed out going on
So
that.
you careered that day? That was the day
Yes,
you
exactly.
careered.
Exactly. But that was
Wow.
very that's the first time I've ever done a talent show like that where, you know, there's an expectation that you get booed off the stage.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Ben,
other
you got
than
That's
anything
such a
else?
good story.
It
yeah,
is a good
it's fun.
story.
That's so good.
Yeah, yeah. Ben, you got anything else? Or are we wrapping this little segment up?
I'm tapped out for now.
That's good. And hey, listen, so here's the deal, folks. In the future, I have another idea. We're going to ask more questions and we're going to do those on our social media. So if you are not following us on our Instagram or our Facebook, check out IBM Magic on IBM Magic. I think that's where at IBM Magic on both Facebook and Instagram, and like it and follow it and do all the things so that the next time we ask a question, you can participate and you can be part of the podcast as well. So, a couple of weeks ago, Stephen Bargatze, our mutual friend, he filmed his special. This has been,
Yeah.
God, this has been 50 years in the making. And he filmed a special. It was filmed at the Franklin Theater here in Franklin, Tennessee, and it was great. It was unbelievable. I can't wait for it to come out. Stephen is one of those that he's just a treasure. People, you only get to see him work, if he goes to a magic convention or if you happen to be a young person, all those years that he was working, middle schools and high schools and doing programs, character building, character development programs. But anyway, it went fantastic. It's gonna be a great special. It'll be interesting to see how it's edited because he did multiple shows. Both shows went great. It'll just be interesting to see how the professional team puts together a special. Because you have say that you may give the same jokes, but you may get a better response from one crowd than another. So it's going to be fun to see how it comes out. But here's the question that I wanted to ask. One more question for the show for today's show, because this is something I've thought a decent amount about this. Can you release because this is what Steven has done. Steven has put his show, his 60 minutes. This is the thing that he's built his entire career on. Can you put your best magic online and then continue to do it in person for audiences? Because in the past, the reason I think this is an interesting question, because in the past, and I think this is something that the magicians believe, but I know that comedians believe it as well, where the idea is that once the material is burned, and I would say in the past, we're talking about like in the past, we're talking about television. We're talking about the
Right.
Tonight Show or, any of those TV shows. So if you did your material on television, they believed that you then could not do it again for live audiences, that you had to develop new material. So here's the question, because I get it. I understand that thought process. But at the same time, I think about going to concerts and I don't want the band to play their new material. I could give a crap about the new material. I want to hear the hits. Now,
Yep.
Hmm.
I know that to a certain extent, magic, much like comedy, is built on the element of surprise. But still,
Right.
you still it may not surprise you as much, although I can argue that it very well may because people just don't remember things as well as we think they do. But I think that, to a certain extent, people want to see their favorites because maybe they want to see it again. Maybe they brought their loved one and they want their loved one to see it again. What do you guys think about this?
Uh, I think the answer is yes, you can perform it. I don't think when you put a special out there like that that the material's burned. I think there could be exceptions to what I'm saying. If you think about Penn and Teller or David Copperfield, think of Copperfield in particular when he was touring almost every year. If you're going the same areas or the same cities, you probably need a new show. I mean, just realistically, if you think about, Steven's son, Nate, who's pretty well-known comedian at this point. Um,
Yes, yes.
he's touring year after year. Um, could he tell the same jokes and would people still come? Yes, they would, because Nate has such great material now that they would come to hear the classics at this point. But I think there is an expectation that most of the show, if not the whole show, will be new if I see Nate 12 months later. Certainly if I see him 24 months later. And I think it's true for comedians. But putting something on TV or Amazon or wherever it's going to go as a special, I don't think that burns the material. I think if you do a worldwide tour with the material and then you want to go back to those places, the material may be burned for those places to an extent. But in general, for us mere mortals, um, you know, putting something out on Amazon, if I watched Steven's special on Amazon, and of course I've seen Steven work dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and I still love it, and I almost can recite the show or pieces of the show.
Sure.
But I still love watching him work because it's never the same because there's so much audience interaction. So I think you're right, Jason. People do come back for the hits. I can imagine situations where you need to create new material. Um, but as a rule, no, I don't think putting 60 minutes of your magic out into the world in that way means that you can't or shouldn't do it for new live audiences.
Ben, if I throw in the wrinkle that does it change anything if you put it on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram? Does it change anything? Because those mediums just eat up material like crazy. So if you're posting material on, let's say, Instagram, and that's where people are learning about you, does that change anything? Or I don't know how that would affect, because you haven't answered, but I don't know how that affects your answer. But take that into consideration. What do you think?
So, as per usual, I am kind of middle of the road on this. So, I understand the people that feel like it burns the material, that they need to put that material to rest and do new things going forward. I get it. However, if, if we're being realistic, if most magicians put a special up or post clips from their show on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, putting things on video out there into the world, even if it goes mega, mega, mega viral, the majority of the people in the world have not seen it.
Right.
And if you come to their town or their company event or whatever, they haven't seen you or they don't remember seeing the magic. And we're just inundated with so much content. And so you can still do it. It's most people haven't seen it. Where it does become an issue is when you are someone with a large following, like Nate Bargatze. If you release a show, all your fan base watches it.
Yeah.
Well, then when they see you, yeah, you probably want to do different things. But for like Scott said, us mere mortals, if I mean I post, people can look at my Instagram. I post clips from my show that reveal surprises to things and everything, and I'm not worried about it at all. I've never once had somebody come up after the show or even during the show and say, "Oh, I've seen that. I saw you." No, if you did see it, you don't remember just because you
Yeah.
you're doom scrolling. And best case scenario, if you do remember, then you might be psyched that now you get to see it live and see how it unfolds, and you get to see the full picture when you're seeing little clips of it. Um, so, and then I think I had some other point, but I don't remember it. Oh, I remember. Also, the argument for not burning the material is you get to keep working on your act and making it better and give it more time.
Mhm.
We were just talking
Mhm.
about Matt King. He's been doing roughly the same show for the past 20 years, since he started his Vegas residency. I mean, it's been pretty much the same show. He's added a couple new things here and there, um, but if you see him now, he is better than he ever was. If you
Hmm.
remember seeing him in the early 2000s and you see him now, he is so on top of everything because he's clocked just so many hours with that same material. And you don't get that if you're changing your material every year or so.
Good point.
Yep.
That's fair. Yeah, good thoughts, guys. I appreciate that. It is interesting. I think that we have our we have our pets, the things that we love to do, that we are super confident in, and that can be intimidating. The idea of I've put something out of the world, especially if you're known for something. There are magicians who are known for certain things, and the magic audiences that I know, usually they kind of want to see that thing. I mean, do they
Hmm.
want to be surprised by things that they haven't seen before? Absolutely. But I think that there are occasions where, if you are known for a certain thing, and that's what everybody's like, oh, they're ribbing their buddy next to them, going, wait until you see when this person does the whatever trick. I think that if you don't do it, then you risk potentially letting people down. It is a little bit different than comedy, but there's definitely some parallels.
Yep.
Um, so next July 22nd through 25th is the I.B.M. convention. I was planning on talking about this a little bit more. We only have a few minutes left, so we'll just kind of hit on the highlights. Um, the talent lineup is looking strong. We have Aaron Fisher. Were you at the Aaron Fisher lecture years ago here in Nashville, Scott? You've met Aaron before,
I
haven't
know
you?
Aaron.
Yeah,
I
you
know
know
Aaron.
Aaron.
Yep. Yep.
And Aaron
He's
Fisher wrote the
fantastic.
Paper Engine, and just
Hmm.
a supremely talented card magician. Andrew Goldenhirsch. I have heard stories about Andrew Goldenhirsch, the magic that he does, and I'll be honest, I don't think I'm pretty positive I've never seen him work, but the stories that I've heard are like otherworldly type of stuff, like stuff that you're just like you hear them say, "Oh, he does this thing," and then describe it, and you're like, "There's no way that he does what you just described," but apparently he does. So, uh, let's see here, Artem Shuchin is going to be
Amazing.
there. Artem won the gold medal a number
Yeah.
of years ago. Was that in Atlanta,
It
Scott?
was in Atlanta. Yeah.
For the IBM, and he's returning to the IBM convention. Andy Gladwin, one of the founders of Vanishing Ink Magic, is going to be there. Mandy Mooden from the United Kingdom. I'm an American, and it's 100% my fault. I don't know Mandy's material. I am excited. I do know the name. I am excited to see what Mandy is going to share. Jonathan Levitt, the actor, magician, magic creator. Yeah, going to be there. Skylar Jade. I understand Skylar is from California. I think that's what I heard, and that Skylar is another one that I don't know well. I really don't know. It's going to be one of those nice surprises to see Skylar work. John Armstrong. John's been to House of Cards a number of times
Hmm.
and always does a really fun show. And so we got Paige Thompson from Chicago. I mean, we're talking about a pretty strong lineup. I don't want to say pretty strong. I mean, there's so far there have been 9 that have been announced. Usually the IBM convention has like between 15 and 18 different people there. So there's probably another 7, 8, 9 more people who are going to be announced. This is shaping up to be a really strong convention. So if you've never attended a magic convention, real quickly, who wants to give Ben, what happens?
Yes.
Give the pitch. What happens at a magic? Let's say you're telling your buddy who's never been to a magic convention, and they're like, "What? Why should I go?"
You get to see magic that you normally wouldn't get to see. You get to be exposed to maybe different kinds of magic. You get to see magic that you are into as well. You get to make friends, friends for life. You get to network. I hate the word network, but you get to network with magicians. You get to just be around people that are operating at a really high level, and you get to have fun.
Yeah, and here's the best part.
Oh, apparently I didn't mention the best part.
No, the best part is that if you register before December 30 by December 31st, you get the early bird registration, which is the absolute cheapest, the least expensive that you can get it for. So the absolute best deal you can possibly get. It's an unbelievably great gift if you want to give somebody the art of magic. Certainly a membership to the IBM, but also consider going to the convention next July. And in last on the last podcast, I very cavalierly said we'll give away a $100 voucher to the dealer room. I've gotten a little bit of flack. I've heard a little bit of flack about that. I'm not going to get into it, but because I said we were going to do it, I'm going to stand by what I said. We're still good. We're going to give, if you register by the early bird registration, which is by December 31st of this year, not only will you get the absolute best price you can possibly get for the convention, but you will be entered into a contest. And in January, on one of the podcast episodes, we'll spin the wheel and someone will win a $100 voucher to the dealer room, even if it gets me into trouble with all the people at the IBM. I feel like, do you guys remember back in the day where you had the radio DJ going, my producer doesn't want me to do this, but I'm going into the prize closet and I'm going to give away something. Do you guys remember stuff like that? That's what I feel like I'm doing right now, because they're like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, because it's cool and it's fun and people get excited about magic tricks.
Wait till they see what you're going to do next time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, all right. So anyway, any last thoughts? We're wrapping it up. Last thoughts. What do you think? What do you say, fellas?
No, this is awesome. This is a fun one.
This was a fun one. It's fun sharing stories
Absolutely.
from over the years. Yeah.
And Jason doesn't have to blow up and rant and rave every single podcast.
And don't worry, folks, we'll find something to bring out Jason the Hulk on the next episode.
With that, for Ben Young and Scott Cantrell, my name is Jason Michaels. We've had a lot of fun sharing the last hour with you. We hope that you will check out the brand new website. You can learn all about the International Brotherhood of Magicians and our convention at magician.org. That is MAGICIAN.org, magician.org. If you would like to reach out to Scott, Ben, or myself, our contact information is in the show notes, and we would love to hear from you. Thanks so much for listening and or watching. We'll see you next time.